So if it does come out.
Yeah, we're going to wait for it. woxic waiting for the smoke as well to go on through. sicko just making sure doesn't hit him in the noggin, but it is going to be the mid creep up from Eternal Fire. They will manage to start off with the frag and up over into the B-bomb site as well. They starting to obliterate the Renegades. It's just going to be down to Malta, a kit and a smoke in his pocket, but 1 versus 5. Yeah, this is difficult.
Yeah, it was a pretty terrible case of timing. I think ence and sicko in towards middle. Really wanted to rely on that crossfire, and sicko kind of fumbles his movement a little bit, and it all goes downhill from there. A complete clean sweep there from Eternal Fire. For them though, if they commit up over the jump up, we've got so many players over here. ence is straight under that boost. You can see Malta kind of walking around in the smoke, and this is the exact kind of angle where pistols can be an absolute nightmare for the T side. That has been a complete wipeout for the most part for Renegades.
He gets taken down as well, and now it is just down to woxic. Things are looking great for RNG at the moment, but spotted him just yet, but the rotation over towards A. Should be ence cutting him off. Here's the footsteps.
Ooh, good raw adjustment. Not even a single point of damage, and woxic's looking dangerous. Gonna get himself an open plant. You got the lurk through from Alistair though.
Falling on backwards, not looking behind him. He does manage to do so, but there is that lurk from Ali to come out. A little bit of BM onto woxic at the end. Quick in toward this one for Immort in front of the util. Might have to wait for his teammates though to potentially get up on that boost to clear out Rafter. It's going to be woxic to start off with the AWP. I wanted to mention that Ali had his as well. But now that him and ence have fallen, things do start to get a little bit more awkward. The weight of the AWP being felt, but that will be shut down.
Yeah, very quickly going into a 3-on-5 there for Renegades. Gonna have to start to make some plays, make some stuff happen. Hats is under a lot of pressure here, and on 7 HP, he's more than likely gonna go down.
Yeah, the gap from xFloud, he has found it quite nicely as an E1 and 2. That's just on toward Malta to see what he can do in the 1 versus 2 now. It is plausible that he can find it. Please don't fall off the map. You would hate to see that right now, but he does manage to get it out nicely. The isolated duel, he doesn't finish it. He falls a little bit too early.
8 and 4. It's a classic, isn't it? And the players not showing themselves put down, and that smoke on the left side getting close to be fading.
Yeah, flashes on in. No more util really to work around. There's smoke on sicko. Big shot out from ence on toward woxic, and now it is the time for Renegades to go in toward the site. Do need to make sure that they get ence on that bomb defuse. He is the one with the kit as well. It's going to come down to all these rifles of Eternal Fire, seeing if they can start to find out the kills. The smoke is on for Hats. He's actually going to go for the tap on toward it to bait out all of the Eternal Fire members. Shots going to start to come out as Hats manages to find him more. It's brilliant to come through from the Renegades as they do lock that down.
Very, very nicely done. Yeah. There's really not a whole lot of util here for Eternal Fire, so it's great that Calix over on the lurk side is getting a pick. xantares just flashes himself through the smoke, and all of a sudden, a round that was going quite well for Renegades is quickly turned
for Eternal Fire to try and maximize what they can. Again, it is only a single smoke, so that is going to go on through. sicko will call for assistance, takes the fight, loses that one. ence and Ali might even be on for a save right now.
Yeah, we'll see. ence is going to invest his Molotov, see if he can go fishing and find anything with that. Alistair's up on the flank, and you can see Eternal Fire already reacting to that. Yeah. Calix has got it under control.
Plant starts to go down, ence to creep on through, finds the fight against xantares. Again, another fight that he can find. Creep on up. xFloud still holding at the default line, and Calix on the AWP entry one. Nah, they're mulling it this time. Oh, hang on. Yeah, there it is. The swing on out. He takes the tussle, and he'll get a dink for his troubles, but that is now play for Eternal Fire to go in toward the site. The CT is completely forced on back, and again, it was that potential double eco to come in for them. Now they have to try and just wrestle to go in through. The bomb has been dropped, but likewise, ence with a Famison and M4 A1S.
Their money is much stronger. They're looking more convincing in the duels.
That's not the way that you want the round to end either if you were trying to go for a save.
Again, they're just pressuring sicko on middle. A lot of utility being utilized. woxic in the meanwhile wins that ult duel in another critical round.
Well, the smoke providing some cover for Hats at the moment, but the creep up from Immort. Didn't expect him to be that far forward already, unfortunately, and it does translate into the 2-player advantage for Eternal Fire. Need to see some heroics from sicko around this B site, if possible, to help the round out. Malta is going to be at least good for 2 here, maybe a third, but with the grave being met, is all down to the leader and ins. Does present maybe the hero M4. That's not even going to happen now. Moving into the round as woxic will find ins. So
he gets the AWP, instantly gets a pick, and he's like, yes.
yeah,
I'm back in it.
back in it indeed. An advantage for Renegades. It's been quite a while since we have seen this side. Usually it's the 5 versus 3s going over towards Eternal Fire, but with Hats finding xCloud, this is the round that Renegades...
Yep. Not too surprising. Malta coming up big with a 2K though.
Now the Calyx for the 1 versus 5. See if you can get anything other than the 1. It's not going to be the case. Eternal Fire still will hold the lead here, 9-6 in their own map pick of Versatility invested in toward that as well. So they're creeping on around the map, back over towards the A side. But look at this from Imor. He's not going to be cleared. A 1 shot to come out. Alistair at least good for the quick reactions on the trade. Renegades still holding this player advantage. A nice dink on towards xCloud as he does look to retreat, but stuck behind the double stack.
That Goosh has come out and they're feeling a little bit more confident about coming towards this side of the map, but no one told them that woxic's in town.
And the shots are starting to come out from him as well. Only going to find 1 in the end, and now Renegades can look to establish a bomb plan, but with a single point in HP, xCloud still has the investment in towards the round, the 2 versus 2. Everybody surrounding the site. It's going to be the vulnerability for Renegades as the plant looks to go down, but a dink on towards Xantares. He is pushed by Hats, who will collect the 2 to close it.
Phase of the game is definitely going to help you out later. Layers of flashes up through the top side there for Renegades to try to get some space up into this B site. They found that entry and they're starting to scale, but all of the CTs are here. Yeah,
it's going to be a struggle for them to try and bully their way in this time, isn't it? The Flames over toward the plat will at least force Eternal Fire in toward the side as they do start to drop down and utilize the smokes of their own, but Renegades don't fancy themselves for this party. They want to retreat and leave. xCloud going to be finding ins in the meanwhile.
Only smoke they had access to utilize to try to get across to the site, maybe try to get this bomb down.
Well, they will go for the fake plant at the moment just to provide the opportunity for the shots, but it's going to be Xantares with that Galil taken over from the previous round that is certainly assisting the case for Eternal Fire right now. Malta no HP to work with either, and woxic will close. Smokes and flashes available for Eternal Fire. They're going to have to try and utilize them now, navigate around as Renegades start to come in. Xantares trying to laser out with the M4. A couple of kills do happen. It's Sicko to take out his teammate in Malta accidentally, and now it's ins for the 1 versus 4 turned 3. 30 seconds to try and play with the bomb on the site as well, and just is quite difficult here.
No doubt. Trying to do that angle isolation. Let's find Xantares. Getting a bit cheeky, jumping up on top of the boxes. Calyx is the only player anywhere near him at that point, but still is good enough.
Through the smoke, they do endeavor, but there's those flames to meet them.
So cheeky from Emor. Creeping behind the flames, and actually he loses himself. Ins is going to get a pick as well. Eternal Fire, they were in a good position, but they've gotten a little bit too cheeky over towards...
Faded out a little bit too early on the nades, however, will allow Sicko get that plant down on toward the floor. The player advantage for Renegades, but Sicko will meet the grave, and now things do get a little bit more dicey for them. A smoke or Calyx can be thrown onto the bomb. On toward the side hall is going to be the location of choice. However, they do have the kits, of course, to be able to play with. Now, this is where the fights will start to be fought. Straight on in toward the side. Hats seen at the sandbags as well. Manages to find 1, but the CT is still keeping it relatively honest. And now it's on to Hats against woxic to see. Well, the charge coming on up. The time is not assisting woxic here, and it should be the round out for Renegades. And Hats will indeed close it out with the 4K as well. Bring over the forces of the CTs to this B site, the dodging of the flash, but the utility peppering out. This is where the M4 does start to make things look good for Calyx. Finalizing the frag onto woxic, but look at what the utility has done, and it has extremely drawn over the rotation. Imor falls over at the A site, and now they can look to establish a plan.
Yeah, and this is where they're throwing the utility that it gives them a bit more control of the site. Xantares doesn't respect that at all. You get the swing from heaven as well. And Eternal Fire get that one done.
A single flash to be able to try and do so, though. Alistair with that little bit of util, and now xCloud, Calyx, are they going to be able to lock it down and make things more awkward for Renegades? It's certainly looking so with Calyx and xCloud finding something. woxic's now here for the party as well, and this is definitely not looking well for Renegades whatsoever. The purchase that they've forced in with nets nothing.
Just didn't have any util. Just that one flash thrown up, and I'm pretty sure both players...
Standard set of util to come down Over towards the ramp, it's woxic boosted up early again. He's going to be rewarded because of it. Fall back, Sicko can't find the timing to try and catch him on the fall back. With that back 10, it's not the greatest weapon that you do want. Now the remainder of the Renegades squad going out towards the B stairs. Calix to find Malta, and again, it's just a round that really is not going Renegades' way. Ins Alistair to see if they can get a little bit of a salvage, make the stats potentially look a little bit better, but jump down from Calix on Alistair, and that will be the ending of that one. 16 found for Eternal Fire. They take their own map pick in Vertigo.
2 through unders, 2 top mid. You got one player working that A ramp control contest towards Con now as the pressure's applied, but Xantara is always sharp on those 1Bs.
Yeah, straight clothesline out onto the face of Malta, and now Renegade's going to try and overwhelm the force of Xantara's. Caught in the reload, but woxic is going to be here to assist as well. It's a bit chaotic for the box to come on through this pistol round, certainly getting Christmas lights in the kill feed right now, but Eternal Fire starting to realize that they are finding the frags. Now it's just going to be down to Alistair. Does have the bomb and an opportunity to go down towards the B site, but xCloud in CT going to be spotting him out. A couple of 1v1 duels at the moment. He might have actually found the right amount of timing as well. Just has to be careful. No, that's a jump step that you do not want to be making at all. So more B, because they've got a couple of players starting to make some moves at the A site.
Yeah, I think this was always their intention. Just trying to pull rotates. Ins and Malta trying to work this A side of the map, but Malta goes a little bit too deep, dives to the player in jungle.
Yeah, that's Molly as well. He's going to force out the smoke for him to escape. A bit of damage out from Ins in that regard as well, but Renegade's really looking for the plant at the moment. Nobody protecting the bomb as it gets planted. Opens a free frag for Calix, and that is going to be a quick closer to come out for the CTs.
Renegades into their second gun round here, though. Had a pretty novel gun round in the first. Definitely could have worked for them, but the timing's not working out at all. This time, unfortunately, they lose that first pick, and woxic through the corner of the window smoke, which was offset by, but either way, it's worked out beautifully for them. First 2 picks. Malta trying to contest Con and get them back into this round, but just not working.
And the re-aggression from Xantara's there, interconnector as well, not read in by the Renegades, but Sicko starts something sinister by finding 2. Maybe a little bit of the recovery for Renegades right now plausible.
This is a big position, which is going to give a lot more safety to Eternal Fire. Not for woxic, though.
It is starting to look good, but through the smoke, if they do intend to go, and it's going to be Calix on the back of it, the util brought out. He has heard the sound cues. Ins manages to find him, and this 2 versus 5 is now directly in the favor of the Renegades. The bomb plant goes down. Finally, xCloud can connect up for the moment. Sicko to jump up on towards the ticket booth, but second guesses him. A wide open plant as well, but snuffed out by Ins is a beautiful recovery for the Renegades to explore mid. xCloud again creeping all the way up through apartments, and Alistair is very lucky that no view models blocked that. He was setting himself up for some util to go through. xCloud not clearing the corner. 5 versus 3 for the Renegades. Now turn 5 versus 2.
Yep. Kind of coming apart at the seams. Feels like Eternal Fire are being pulled apart right now. More given a freebie, but this is not the port of call really for Renegades as they get that bomb plant down open on A.
Yeah, money's not built up from either of these squads at the moment, so it's on to Eternal Fire to see if they can hold on a couple of these weapons into the next round as well. Immor takes out Malta, and Renegades do drop another player. It just makes things a little bit more awkward for them going forward. Ins on this. And you got the 2-2 split for Eternal Fire at the moment as well. Alistair has been waiting patiently over here. That flame goes over towards the Platinum. Might work out quite nicely, but the challenge that Xantares wins with xCloud as well does mean that that time being bought is quite detrimental to Eternal Fire's success right now, but the player advantage is in Renegade's side, and bomb down on short. That's time that Renegades have to invest to go and retrieve that. Xantares, all he needs to be is a bit of a menace around the site right now. If Alistair finds that frag, it makes it a little bit more workable for the Renegades. The flame's a little bit too deep. Calix on this 1 versus 2. Does have that idea still on where the players are. Sees Ins, but the duel is won from the Renegades. They hold on, and they find the 4th. All of Renegades' eggs are in this one basket. Moore's going to start off the festivities right now as well. Needs to make sure he's not going to drop the basket of his own. And so far, so good. 3 on the board for the man, and he's an absolute unmovable weapon. 4 in the end. woxic as well. 5 AWP kills across the board for Eternal Fire.
Yeah, that's about how it went for Endpoint as well. Against a double AWP, in theory, like, that's one of the kind of strats you want to go for, but none of this util hit Emor at all. You know, we're talking about throwing a B execute. Where's the flash coverage? Stronger side from them, but that might have been an anomaly. And the way that Eternal Fire is playing today, and in general this tournament, I'm worried about every side, because their multi-frag potential is out of this world. Emor, another tumble in underpass.
And now Malta somehow wins the fight against Calyx, but xantarespeek complete for the trade there. ence and Alistair to see if they can bring a bit of recovery in this round for the Renegades. It's only player advantage for the CTs at the current time. The flash, though, does put ence to the grave, and Alistair might be close to fall soon. 45 now, 2 on the Harry Potters, and there's no spells that he's going to be able to sling here to get him out of this one. It's looking like it, but again, it's the Flames. They get smoked out. xCloud has an incendiary for himself, but now Emor is here to see if he can get anything done. Renegades finally do get the opportunity to expand out into water side, but it is just a complete and utter shutdown. ence will eventually get an upgrade onto a weapon, can't even pull it out. It is 10-5 as you were predicting there, Pilski. Again, a break around the corner, and when we do return to
Renegades, if they can get any taps on the players coming out of a ramp, but seems like the entry has been pretty solid.
A couple of nice shots actually to come out from the Renegades right now, but xantarespeek is going to be able to answer back, and just the space that
Cold looking for picks for a very, very long time. They found Malta at top middle, and they want to try and isolate him. Beautifully done.
And we'll manage to do so. Meanwhile, Hats is contemplating shifting back. ence manages to find xantarespeek, and that bomb is certainly going over towards the B site.
He's on his horse. You have Hats over there, though. You're going to hide behind bench. Wonder if he's going to be checked here, or whether it's just going to be a forced plant, forced short. Easy kill for Hats. Executes him straight away, and now woxic with 20 seconds in the 1-on-3. Pretty unlikely.
Dink straight on out. Doesn't do too much damage for him, but with only 10 seconds, it's just down to what damage he can do now as well. Can retrieve the bomb, but you know that Sicko isn't going to let him go for the plant completely. Renegades will be picking up the CT side of pistol. Running out through towards A main. Cheeky little boost here for xantarespeek.
It's turning into an A split, and that's what I was worried about. ence just didn't really have a whole lot to work with. Alistair tried to set him up for success by flashing him into a ramp, and Alistair doing work from triple, still actually creeping onto default as this A split comes in.
Yeah, he needs to do something, but Alistair does get taken down. Hats and Malta to see if they can at least get some recover for the Renegades. And undercover is where we'll look to see Eternal Fire move in towards as well, because Hats in a 1 versus 4. I mean, you look at the HP of Eternal Fire here. Spread out on that default for Eternal Fire again. The 1-1-3 went over toward the A site. Heavy investment through towards mid from the Renegades, though, with this util, and it is working out. Alistair ence able to find a couple of frags. You'll certainly take that.
Yep. Doing a good job disrupting the default, repositioning. Renegades just moving around the map as a unit than they would get if they just got that loss bonus around here.
Yeah, a lot of clearance to come out as well. Emor in a sneaky position that might catch Sicko off a little bit later. No one-way attempts to be played within the smoke, and he's even gone for the tricky discipline. Onto the first, onto the second. It's beautiful. Come out from Emor. Puts the worries to bed for Eternal Fire. They can start to...
Pressure being applied towards A in middle. That draws out the push from Hats. Punished instantly, and that's going to be the round for Eternal Fire.
No chance of a save either from the Renegades, it feels like right now. Malta gets taken down, and ence in accordance as well. That's 15 for Eternal Fire. That is now, sometimes with knowledge, it still gets the better of you. Emor next up, Alistair turns around as well, looking for ence, and he just makes it look easy in the end of it. Does get shut down. The damage already done at that point in time. It's only Deagles. Mollies are out, the util start to come through. Hats caught in the back of the head, and it's a big one for Renegades to recover from now if they possibly can. Sicko with an AK, Malta with a scout. The bomb looking to go down as well. It is now just on towards Malta. It's woxic, of course, to hold it out with the AWP. There you do have it, folks. It's Eternal Fire moving on into the next stage of this lower bracket run. And for the Aussies, They are unfortunately knocked on out. We will look to send it once more to a break and around the corner back to the deck.